Exercise 4.6. Tabo is the bookkeeper of Park Stores. He did the bank reconciliation at the end of March 2018 and then went on leave for a month. A temporary bookkeeper, Trevor, was appointed for the time. After he received the bank statement at the end of April, he completed the bank reconciliation statement but was unable to balance it. Required. 4.6.1. Take the given information into consideration to calculate the correct balance for the bank account on the 30th of April 2018. All calculations must be shown. 4.6.2. Prepare the correct bank reconciliation statement on the 30th of April 2018. So your information. On returning, the following information was present to Tabu. First, the bank reconciliation statement on the 31st of March 2018 as prepared by Tabu. So from the previous bank reconciliation statement, remember the only thing we really use from here is the debit balance as per bank account. And then we need to come back and check if the deposit and the checks outstanding were indeed on the new month's bank statement. So for now, we can only use that 10,100 in our calculation for the correct bank balance. So opening balance 10,100. Second, the cash receipts journal for April 2018 showed a bank total of 85,400. So that needs to be added onto the opening balance, 85,400. And then number 3, the cash payments journal for April 2018 showed a bank total of 91,514. So that needs to be subtracted from your current your opening balance, 91,514. Then the bank reconciliation statement on the 30th of April as prepared by Trevor. So there's a credit balance as per bank statement, 8,800. There's a credit deposit that's outstanding, and there's a debit check that's outstanding. So those two are outstanding. We must just check if the opening balance per bank statement and closing balance per bank account, if those two are correct. But the outstanding deposits, outstanding check, we can take that to our reconciliation statement, as they would probably be correct. 12,000 Rand outstanding. And check number 199 for 4,800 is also outstanding. Then number 5, additional information. Tabu found the following on the bank statement which was received at the end of April. On the 1st of April, the bank statement had a credit balance of 8,800. And on the 30th of April, it showed a favorable balance of 2,200. So on the 1st of April, we showed 8,800. And the last day of April, we showed 2,200. Now, if we consider this total used in our bank reconciliation statement, they took the 1st of April. Trevor took the 1st of April's bank balance of 8,800. That is incorrect. What was he supposed to take? He was supposed to take the 2,200 balance. So let's go and correct that. So according to bank reconciliation, it should have shown, instead of debit balance, it should have been a credit balance as per bank statement, and 2,200. So there is already a mistake that he made. Then also he did not consider the rest of the information. So the rest of the information says there was bank charges of 186 and a debit order for insurance of 2,950. So I mean, those are things appearing on bank statement and not appearing in my book. So I must go and decrease my bank account with the bank charges as well as decrease it with the debit order. So minus 186 as well as minus 2,950. Then also a credit entry regarding interest wasn't considered. Now remember, a credit entry, meaning that my bank increased, because on the credit side for bank, it increases. So I'm increasing it due to interest. So I'm adding 120 Rand. Then furthermore, check number 190 appeared on the bank statement as 1,520 and in the cash payments journal as 1,250. The entry in the bank statement is correct. So 1,520 is correct, 1,250 is incorrect. So in other words, the mistake was made in the cash payments journal, which is our books. So let's go and calculate the difference between the two amounts, and we see the difference is 270 Rand. So in other words, my cash payments journal decreased with too little. So I need to decrease it further to get me to the amount of 1,520. So in other words, I need to decrease my bank with the error of 270. 5.2. Tabu also picked up that Trevor did not take the previous month's bank reconciliation statement into consideration. The deposit of 10,000 did appear on the bank statement for April. So if it did appear, it means that we can tick it off. 10,000 was in fact in the bank reconciliation statement. Or in the bank statement, so therefore we can reconcile it. So there's two checks that is still outstanding, which we should just go and consider. First is 156, which was dated on the 2nd of October. So the 2nd of October is a long time ago. Let's count. November is month 1, December, January, February, March, April. So on the 2nd of April, it was 6 months old. So by the end of April, it was definitely already a stale check. So therefore, we must go and cancel this check of 5,200. And we cancel it in our books because it's not in the bank's books. It's not going to be in the bank's books. So we need to go and erase it from our books as well. So 5,200 needs to be taken out of our books as well due to an outdated check, or you can call it a stale check. So when we take out that check, it means actually that we are adding it back into my bank account. So therefore, if we previously took it out, by adding it back in, it means it's going to cancel out. So therefore, our bank balance is now complete, calculated. We get to a favorable bank balance of 5,900. Now remember, favorable in my books means it's a debit balance. So when I take it to bank reconciliation statement, I'm going to say debit balance as per bank account 5,900. In terms of previous bank reconciliation, what is then left? And what is left is only check number 189 of 3,500, which did not appear on the bank statement of April. Therefore, it's still outstanding for April again. And if you check the date, it's dated only for the 5th of May. So it's a post-dated check. So it's going to be definitely outstanding for April. It's probably going to be outstanding for May, and it can be outstanding for 6 months after May before it becomes a problem. So we can put it on the bank reconciliation statement still for a very long time. So when we take it to bank recon, we're going to say it's an outstanding check, 3,500. Therefore, our bank reconciliation statement is then also finished, and when we add up debit, we get a total of 14,200. When we add up credit, we get a total of 14,200. So, Tabu and you managed to get your bank reconciliation statement in order. So, it's now balancing. Now, a very interesting scenario happened in required number 2. On the 10th of May 2018, Trevor came to fetch his payment for the period he spent at the business while Tabu was on leave. The following conversation took place between them. Tabu: I cannot believe you left the bank reconciliation unbalanced. Did you expect me to finish the job for you? Trevor: What? Don't tell me you wasted your time trying to balance the bank reconciliation statement. Your work is already very exacting. Why go to all the trouble? Tabu: Do you mean to tell me that you think it's all right to leave the bank reconciliation unbalanced? Trevor: Wow, I would have only changed a few amounts in order for it to balance, and then the bosses would be satisfied. I think it is a waste of time. Tabu: with that mindset, I am not surprised that you are experiencing cash flow problems. Question. Referring to the above conversation, explain to Trevor why it is important to do bank reconciliation every month. Give at least 3 reasons. So your first reason should always be, it's for internal control purposes, in order to compare the balance of the bank account and external sources such as the bank statement. So it's a very important internal control measure that we need to do every single month. Also, in order to explain the differences in the balance between the bank account and the bank statement, and to follow up on all outstanding amounts, we need to do our bank reconciliation every single month. Third reason, in order to determine any errors at an early stage and for checking the entries. While he was having the conversation with Trevor, Tabo also realized that the bank charges for April was suddenly much higher. After closer investigation, he found that this has been a tendency for the past 3 months. He remembered receiving a letter from the bank 4 months ago stating that because of legislation ban, charges would actually be decreased. Tabo phoned the bank and the bank manager told him that he is not the only client to bring this to their attention. The bank had determined that one of their employees have been adding small amounts to the bank charges, which he then allocated to his own personal bank account. The bank has to date linked an amount of more than 100,000 rand to this fraudulent activity. The employee says that he needed the money to pay for his son's medical expenses after he was involved in the motor vehicle accident. Trevor said that this is acceptable as it is only small amounts from every client's account and that the employee was clearly in need. He feels we should see it as service to the community. Question. Do you agree with Trevor's point of view? Give 2 reasons for your answer. Next, how should the bank manager address the situation? Give 2 steps he should take. So firstly, you should not agree with Trevor's point of view. That is not the correct point of view, because fraud is fraud, no matter how big or how small the amount is or what the circumstance is behind the reason for the fraud. Fraud is wrong. If a person's getting away with a small crime, they will definitely steal again in future. So then, how should the bank manager address the situation? Give 2 steps he should follow. So firstly, proper internal control measures should be implemented. A final written warning can be given. Employees must be better assessed before they are appointed. Investigate on how the fraud originated. Also, the worker must have a disciplinary hearing before a disciplinary committee in order to state his case.